Thank you. So we've got Dia coming in. She's going to try to find a seat over here past my big feet. That's tricky. Right there. We have Carrie here letting everybody in. Thank you all for joining this morning. So one of the conversations, the beautiful thing about living with Libby, having Libby here, is we have lots of conversations about the Dharma. And of course, I was having exactly the same conversations about the Dharma with Al, but they were looking very, very different. They were about just life as it was happening, right? With Libby, I do more, how is the practice impacting, because Libby herself is a practitioner. And Al has been doing at least a 15-minute body scan or 60 breaths every day for this year. And I have to say, it has already had incredible impact on us. What was the impact? Well, one, we practice now as a family. And so when Al says, I think I'm ready to do my 60 breaths, and that means you show up over here because you're going to guide that. And by the way, happy to do it. Libby sits with us. And what's happened from that, just so you know the power of the Dharma really, is that Libby is not, I did not grow up with Libby. Libby, I was 18 years old and gone when Libby was born. I could be Libby's mother. And maybe I am. Right? Maybe I am. And so I knew Al when I was a kid, and Al did not know Libby, did not see her as family, right? That came well later. And so there's always been this kind of, well, but who's that, right? Not because he doesn't love Libby, and not because he doesn't like her, but because he doesn't know her as family, this idea we construct, right? Family is those people you grew up with. So the fact that we've been sitting together has actually just probably in 1 month shifted our sense of connectedness. More than any conversation, I will say, could have done, because we've kind of had them. We've had them, haven't we? We've had the, but she is my sister. I do relate to her in that way. I care for her. Well, here she is living. By the way, it was Al's idea that Libby come live with us. So it isn't like he has stayed disconnected. And still, right? And the practice itself and its capacity for binding us to each other is bigger than any conversation that's ever going to be had, isn't it? I want you to remember this, because often we mistake the words. I gotta say that. I gotta, right? It's wrong. And so we just get to know today that's wrong, but can I be in some way fully available? And I mean really wholehearted. And I don't even know how to do that with words. Because the minute you go into languaging, you're into some kind of idea. But I do know how to do it a little bit better through presencing, just showing them, right? And the silence and the stillness and the groundedness and the availability is ultimately what matters. So I wanted to start by sharing that because I was struck yesterday. I know the truth of this and rediscover it then over and over and over again. And there it was, right in front of me. I wanted to start today with I was also thinking a lot about Thich Nhat Hanh recently. I miss him. And that's a little funny because I didn't sit with him very regularly. We went up twice a year for a couple of years. We got to spend time with him. I feel so privileged, don't we? I mean, that's unbelievable. The blessing of that is nuts. It's nuts, really. There's no accounting for that. Walking with him, crazy. Really a master of that level. And so I was thinking about him and the binding of his own community and how powerful they are and how strong they are. And then this quote, as it always happens, just popped up. it isn't the one I would have picked. And I realized, of course, it was better than the one I would have picked. So I'm going to read it and then we're going to sit together. And we forget the truth of this, not only about the Dharma, whatever that means for you. There's Jesus Dharma, right? Muhammad Dharma. This is not relegated to any tradition or ism, so don't mistake it. And he does not speak in that way, does he? He talks about the kingdom of God frequently in his teachings, a lot like Yogananda did, right? They understood that there was the essential drawing of East and West together that would be more beneficial than dividing them. And so Thay says this: happiness is possible right now, today. Good news. But happiness cannot be without suffering. What? Uh-oh. Right, okay, it's going into terror. I didn't want this already. I like the idea of happiness as possible today. I'm not that excited now about not without suffering, right? I don't want to read the art. Let's get out of this paragraph. Some people think that in order to be happy, they must avoid all suffering. And so they are constantly vigilant, constantly worrying, this, guarded, shut down, separated, disconnected in some, gotta stay safe or secure. They end up sacrificing all their spontaneity, freedom, and joy. This isn't correct. If you can recognize and accept your pain without running away from it, you will discover that although pain is here or there, joy can also be here at the same time. True? Mm-hmm. Yes. Some say that suffering is only an illusion, or that to live wisely, we have to transcend both suffering and joy. I say the opposite. The way to suffer well and be happy well is to stay in touch with what is actually happening, what is actually going on. In doing so, you will gain liberating insights into the true nature of suffering and of joy. And this is from his beautiful book, No Mud, No Lotus. Isn't that a beautiful phrase? By no mud, no lotus. Which speaks to that, doesn't it? Without the difficulty, we cannot cultivate what? Strengths, resilience, connection, belonging. We need each other. We remember this and those qualities in ourselves too, that will then be of benefit and of service. And then we can make those offers. So why did I decide to go with that quote? Because I've been working with some folks in a couple other traditions, and the confusion has consistently been, how do I transcend this experience? And no one has been very happy when I say there is no transcending. There is only transforming by being with it. No applause. No applause. No applause. Right? I understand, because as I've been very honest, many years, probably 9 or 10 of my practice, I was practicing to get away from the truth of the present moment. And I loved concentration practice for that effect, because whoosh, soaked me right in to the open space. And though we can rest there, it is to be there so that we can fully then, with stability, this is the second part, that the Buddha himself says, alone concentration is not sufficient. All the concentration in the world, all the good bliss, all the joy, all is not sufficient if you cannot see what qualities of mind constructed it. And not before you see what qualities of heart mind constructed the suffering as well. Do you get what I'm saying? that it is qualities of mind, not my bad day. Right? We get this, not my bad day. There's this confused, craving, wanting, not wanting, wanting it some other way, mind. And that mind is going to suffer. It is its nature. The open, accepting, receptive, inclusive mind is going to greet this sun and not just be lost in the right clouds. And so we're going to sit together with that today. We're going to start with non-meditation meditation once again, non-meditation meditation. I'll give you instruction if you haven't done it before. And non-meditation meditation, we're getting near the end of our book by Pema. Pema does non-meditation meditation as her primary practice. This is her practice. And it is not true. Somebody asked me, well, this isn't like concentration practice. Well, no, that's actually not accurate. It is a single object, but it is a single object that is open space. That is the single object. Well, but there's all that other stuff happening. Sounds are coming, birds are singing, things are happening. And now I'm leaving my eyes open. Now I see the sunlight coming and going. I see her move her foot. I see the cat is likely to come join us, right? How can this be single object meditation? And so for the practitioners who've done this a while, how is that possible? With all those things coming and going. Carrie says, it's always there. You could never get rid of it. And the idea was never to get rid of the objects, right? That's not the practice. So you don't have to keep trying to get rid of thoughts. You don't have to get rid of a feeling. You might want to drop in and know something about it, like the thought before and the thought after might help you with what's really right in its pattern. So eyes open, eyes closed, we just have habits, right? That's all. Where we go, I like it because I can close that strong visual door, but we're going to practice today leaving that door open a little and just seeing how we do. It won't necessarily be familiar for all of you, so you won't feel nearly as successful. And if you were looking for success, you probably are going to turn this off sometime in the next few minutes, because that's not the idea. And so we take our Dharma seat, right? We set a posture that really represents that dignity of a Buddha, of Christ consciousness, of the Yogananda, bliss, whatever comes to mind for you. This all available, wholly present, open-hearted. We're going to take a big in-breath, breathing in, and then breathing out. Settling in a little. We'll do it one more time. Breathing in, a little more. Breathing out. Settling into your seat. This seat has been selected for you. And if you have your eyes closed just to get yourself settled, that's not a problem. But somewhere in the establishing of inner and outer posture, inner and outer posture, we set the body first, and then we let it be still. And then we follow the line of the nose, it's easiest, and lower the eye and just rest the eye gaze. You're not looking at anything. You're just resting the eyes. And so see what that might feel like. In non-meditation meditation, we are already present And we're making contact with that mind body. Already here, already awake, already alive, and present. We don't ring the bell in non-meditation meditation, but there is no beginning, there is no middle, and there is no end. Continuous presence. And rather than using the eye door for looking now, we're going to shift attention into that somatic experience sense, the sense of the body breathing into open space and drawing that open space in so that this body mind becomes a permeable door of spaciousness. Nothing separate, nothing locked, no space there, me here ness. That would be a misunderstanding. But just vast open space being breathed in and out. And then if you would, rather than lowering the eyes to any object at all, we're going to lift the gaze up from any object and place it in open space. Now everybody's going, where's that? Where's that? Wherever the eye can hold a sense of spaciousness, emptiness, openness, room, boundless, vast, open, and infinite. And then we're just going to rest here for a while. And if you need the guardrail of the breath, this is just fine. You can breathe into the space, out from it, just cultivating that sense of open space in all directions. See if you could shake off any sense of seriousness, though we're in a learning mode for some of us, which is a high level of attention. It's also a lot of thinking. And so we want to start to let go of that thinking. What am I supposed to be doing here? Thinking for that sense of being present, open, and spacious. We're taking the shape of the space upon which the mind is resting. You're blinking naturally, breathing effortlessly. You're not controlling experience at all, though you are directing attention, and that is to that open space. If you need to close the eyes briefly in order to just moisten them or lower or raise them slightly. Uh, Evidently, the science says the lowering and raising of an eye it's like a little bit of a switch for wakefulness and energy. And so an overly lowered eye can make you slightly drowsy. You just lift the gaze slightly. You're still holding open space as your primary object. But with a slightly elevated gaze, inviting a little more alert attention. The appearance and disappearance of objects is continuous. The arising and passing of the breath, of body and body sensations, of sounds. But see if you can't continue throughout this practice to rest back into that vast, still and silent space, even with eye open. Noticing how sounds themselves appear from silence and then return to silence. How the breath itself arises from stillness and returns to stillness. allowing the mind to move beyond the objects themselves to rest again and again in that vast, infinite, boundless, open, empty space, that sky-like quality of mind. With objects arising and passing. We can then even notice thoughts themselves, thoughts, as mind objects, rising and appearing and changing and fading back into the vast open space. And we begin to notice that the thoughts themselves do not disturb the vast open space. Like a cloud does not disturb the nature of the sky. And in fact, it is not the sky at all that contracts, that craves, that attaches, that grips. It is, in fact, this quality of thinking mind, the I, me, and mine mind, that's looking for stability or comfort, security or permanence, and so grabs an object. And frequently it's a thought. And this is the beginning of suffering. We don't claim the bird call as mine, though we may claim the hearing. And let's see if we can't just invite and allow that open space. Now, there is a line in a sutta: no eyes, no ears, no nose, no mouth, no body, Nothing is mine. No hearing, no seeing, no smelling, no tasting, no touch, no one. But be watchful then of the habit to try to get rid of rather than to change the view. So we're not getting rid of thoughts and sounds. We're not getting rid of smells and tastes. We're just recognizing them for their codependent, conditioned reality. They cannot be held or kept. They are not mine. They simply arise and pass. Being present to sound is way more interesting than thinking about it. Being present to thoughts, inviting insights, understanding, and wisdom, not being caught in the particular storyline. And in this non-meditation meditation, we keep dropping under the storyline back into that open space that holds even the story, even that sense of self. This quality of mind is spacious, large, open, empty, vast, unmoving, imperturbable, unshakable. It is big enough for all experience, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing, and does not claim any, does not struggle with any, but rests in openness. And then see if you notice where the joy arises. What is the quality of mind? There is no me, no mine, no I. And where is the suffering? Where's the hook? my thought, my life, my body. And the wanting and the not wanting of it. And we can begin again then right here, available right now, says Ty. This very breath in that open, spacious, vast, sky-like quality of and within that boundless space, then we can allow the heavenly and boundless abodes of loving kindness, of compassion, of joy and equanimity. We can breathe them in, we can be them. And offer them. By this very spacious presence. Can we open to it all? The qualities of mind that invite and cultivate joy, equanimity, ease, kindness, compassion, and also noticing the mind that grips, that grabs, that contracts, that defaults. And can we invite that openness, that inclusion, that wholeheartedness then once again? This is the path and the practice. Again and again, forever again. And just this one breath. just like the mind objects, the weather has uh, gone from sunny and now cloudy, and who knows what next. Now getting a little chillier. Yeah, catching that. Nose is running a little bit more. And so I'm just going to check in here with both all those who are here in the garden and those on Zoom about this practice. What about this practice for you?
I found it harder to have mental open space with my eyes.
Mhm.
And it wasn't because of things I was seeing, it was just more thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts are frequently stimulated by the sense doors, right? So if you have a hearing object, the possibility for them thinking about that object, it goes up. And so if you have hearing happening, sensation happening, and now we include seeing happening, well, we know we've just increased mind objects by about 80%. Increased mind objects. Even when you're resting, the eye door is still open. It's still taking in, right, data, information, mind object, even called that little tiny hole that I can create, just one little, like tiny littlest through the, and then the thought about it, right?
That's true. I was seeing a face like in the leaves, the way the leaves are.
We construct all kinds of stuff. And more than we have, so our understanding is what? More than construct the object, we are constructing the self seeing. This is a key point. More than constructing objects, we are constructing a solid, permanent, fixated, identified, can help me with words, folks, those of you who are, right, self, who is seeing them.
For me, all my senses were, there was an instruction that you gave initially about trying not to be so serious or something.
Yeah.
It was helpful.
Lighten up a little bit here.
Yeah. It's like, this is, you don't have to go to work. But I found that in addition to having the visual be just all my senses, right?
Yes.
So there's some kind of maybe fertilizer or something going on with the candle and and then I went into like, okay, the weight on my blanket, my feet are cold. And then I went from one thing to another, and then, oh my gosh, they're working on the yard over there. Okay. So all the senses were triggering that,
Yes.
Not just the visual.
Yeah.
And so I found respite in closing the eyes, right?
Yeah.
And then, okay, let's try this open awareness again. And so it was almost like this continual challenge for myself to be that open.
Yeah. Without gripping or grabbing the
and
object.
trying to be light about it.
Yes.
As opposed to that striving.
Well, that's a big practice all by itself. Light about, and then light about what? Light about the self that's thinking it's getting it right. Or light about the self believing it can't do it.
Mhm.
Or light about the self that's going, well, my mind has got a lot of objects passing through here. And remember, it's the selfing that is the point, not the objects. Objects are objects. 10, 20, a billion, colors, shapes, sizes. I don't know. It actually isn't that interesting to me anymore. I guess that takes 30 years. I don't know.
At least.
I don't know. But really, the thing isn't really, now my relationship to the thing and the mying the thing, this gets kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, the mying, me doing it like this. Like, who's that? Actually, who is that? Nobody.
Yeah, an ability to rest in that.
Yeah, like
Open
nobody. You heard me
nothing.
say it twice. No one, nobody. here, seeing anything, seeing happening, and how do we rest there? Ah! And we know from the Gate chant, right? Gone, gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond. Because then hold what? What do you hold then? If there is no self seeing, then what? Let me look at chat here and see what people are doing. Tanya, are you raising your hand to say something?
Oh, no, I was just rubbing my hand.
Okay. That hand.
Yeah.
It is why, by the way, are you raising the hand? Yeah, some hands, some hand being raised. It's why we don't say in the trainings, my body, my thoughts, my seeing. We say seeing happening, the body, right? To universalize, to make more human and more universal, right? Rather than the gripping, claiming my story, my life, my mess, my good news, right? Because even when we were just talking about the car that I've been really gifted. The truth is, that's not really too much about any me. Not really. I could make a bunch of stories about that. And the truth really is a variety, infinite, truthfully now, confluence of moments, experience, right, factors have come together to make this happen. I'm not capable of this. I am not capable of going, what do you have to do to make that happen? I have no idea. I don't have any idea. I do know a variety of things have come together in a variety of interesting ways to make that a possibility for now. At least the appearance of that, who knows? Yeah, car's not here, may never get it. Actually. No, it's true. Isn't it true? I set her up for that tea. Because really, what do you know? And even if you get it, what does that mean? Right? What is it really? Well, Jim said, right, then you'll be happy. Yeah, Larry, I see your hand over there, though I can't see you. Speak up so we can hear you on this side.
I was thinking about non-meditation, meditation, and about the eyes. You know, same here. Eyes kept wanting to shut, and then is one of the rationales for the closing of the eyes to prepare us to be in openness throughout the day, because we don't walk around with our eyes closed. So we have
Yes.
this thing where we meditate with our eyes, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
now we're in the real world.
That's
and
right.
So that's part.
That is
of
right.
it.
How to really be fully awake with
And
the
that's
truth of
practicing being out there in
Yeah.
the real world.
really dealing with all the experiencing, the seeing eye as well, right? The one who sees, or the one who we perceive as seeing. Larry said, is this to like be more prepared for real life? Yeah, yes. Because we're not walking around with our eyes closed most of the time. There's a lot of moving objects. It's very challenging when we close eyes for 30 or 40 minutes to open the eyes and then not be seduced. I think, right? Not be seduced by my eye object. It's very challenging. I mean, you don't have to be on social media to see how easy that is, right? That body, that look, that something, that right identity, that celebrity, that something, shiny, shiny, shiny objects. Well, if you have your eyes closed the whole time, guess what? You're going to be blinded by those shiny objects, aren't you? called life that looks like it's over there going pretty well over there in that person's life, right? I know somebody, by the way, who knows J-Lo. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I think Jim was being a little facetious.
No.
I'm over here
Oh, my
"So what?"
God.
So what? Well, exactly. So what? Yeah. Oh, and one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
did it.
What a,
What
what a famous life.
That's too much.
And what,
It
it-
keeps on blowing up now.
yeah. And so what do you know?
Uh,
Suffering, suffering, suffering. That's what you know. But it's so easy, isn't it? Based on the iDoor, based on the Super Bowl performance, based on the latest movie, based on the who she's married to, objects to go, oh, you know, like that's somebody's got something going on now. Right. And we do it over and over. We do it with neighbors, right? We do it with friends, who do it with family. We do it, right? That somebody's got something. And it's always mistaken. Even if you get a yellow Jeepster. And how to remember. Well, I don't know how to remember. I do not know how to remember without practicing it. And my call to all of you was at least 60 breaths a day to rest in letting it all come, letting it all be, and letting it all go again and again and again. So that when you're in your life, you don't get caught, you don't get hooked, and you don't mistake it. Happiness is available every moment, but not that way. That's actually the path to guaranteed suffering. And it's guaranteed. And then we get to say, it doesn't matter who you are. Does it? Doesn't matter then who you are. Or maybe more true, who you think you are. Right? Maybe even more true. And so what's the experience of the group? I do see somebody asking about the hike. Yes, we're going to be going on that hike from the nature center for those who are leaving briefly now. We're leaving at 9:45. Be leaving from there to do the 3-mile loop. If you want to join, just meet us there. That would be great. I'll be there from about 9:30 something on, and we're going to do just a loop, look around at the birds. I'll have the binoculars. I've got the bird list. Today is Wings Over Wetlands Day. They've got some stickers and, you know, fun. So for those of you who might make that work. I think we just heard a woodpecker.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Speaking about Wings Over Wetlands. We got a little woodpecker visiting us here. What else? Chat with me or come on live. Let me know what you're thinking.
When the sun came, hit me for 30 seconds. You know, I realized the weather was too colorful. Sense like it's open, candle, birds, all that was weather. And there that sun was. I thought, well, where did it come from? It comes from anywhere. It's there.
It's there.
The weather performs itself.
Yes.
It's there.
Yes. Jim was just likening that radiant sun to really awareness, right? Always there, always available. And whatever the conditions, well, they're the conditions too. Clouds are clouds. We don't lie about them, right? And we also can't establish them. Like it's a cloudy day because, well, it will be and it won't be. We can then say, I prefer sunny days. This mind, this moment likes, right? That, and we often get caught by weather. Anybody notice this? You ever hear conversations about weather? It's very interesting. Lots of preference, lots of bias, lots of, I love it, I hate it. There's a lot of eyeing, right? Lots of ideas about weather, what should be happening and not happening in weather. This is very much like our relationship to life. Isn't it? Very much. I really love that. That was fabulous. Oh, look at the sun. Right. Preferencing. I practice with weather a lot. I practice, which is being open to this, and then being open to its inevitable impermanence and its inevitable change, and understanding that that weather is me. Also subject to what? Complete impermanence, complete change. And can I be open to both? This is the practice, right? So be watchful, because I hear a lot of people talk about the objects. Objects like this and objects like that. Well, that's half of an interesting story, but there's a whole other half, which is, what is your relationship to that? Where is the grab, the grip, the reject, the push away, that I didn't want that, I don't like that, I want that to go away. And more than the preference, we have to remember is what? The I making of that. The I who likes, the I who doesn't like, the I who wants. And the storyline on that, boy, it's solid. It's solid. And it's going to cause, it's guaranteed to cause suffering. I don't know if you guys remember, but we had a practice where I actually asked people to take the pronoun I out of, remember this? During our Bodhisattva training, I said, take the word I out. Find a way to talk about whatever needs to be said without the I pronoun. Okay, watch that. Watch that. And then watch the claim of it, the grip of it, the wanting of it. Watch that, because that gets pretty interesting as well, doesn't it? No, I want me back. I want the I word, because everything comes around it, except that will lead still, doesn't it? Guaranteed suffering.
Pronoun battle.
The pronoun battle is on.
Look out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful practice.
What if instead of she, her, hers, it's I, me, mine?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's almost always I, me, mine.
Yeah.
I don't care what else you colored it with. Kelly was making the joke about she, her, they, them, us. It's be watchful of the I in it all. The I in it all. And look at the grip around it. Right? You have to now reference the he, the she, the they, the them, the in it, or you got it wrong. And again, just interesting. I'm not going to establish a political perspective about that. So you don't need to write me a nasty note. I'm not saying that it's not valid. I'm saying look at the attachment in it. Look at the story in it.
Well, whoever said that, I don't understand. I don't feel comfortable saying they or them. And it's like,
Okay. Right. Be watchful. I think Felicia, you were trying to signal there.
Oh, yeah, I just found it interesting. I've only done this out with meditation a couple times with you. And I was sitting in my backyard and I had so much trouble because I was looking at everything, like analyzing. This time I did, like Kelly, I saw some things on the stucco and I made pictures. I was like, then I was like, got away. When you said like about the clouds and something else, it was really helpful to use the hearing sense more than the seeing. And then I kind of got this bigger picture of like, there's so much going on all around. It's not just here.
That's right. That's right.
It worked better by doing that.
That's right. It's independent of me, isn't it? It's independent. It is occurring, whether I catch it or I don't catch, whether I heard the sound or I didn't hear the sound. The I was not the relevance, was it? No. The sounds I hear the sights I see, the pictures I make, the I, again, really in its appearance. And by the way, it's an appearance. There's nothing you made up on the wall that's bigger than the you just made.
I also noticed the pictures I made from what you said. It's very interesting.
The you made from, oh, I see this now. I see this now. In psychedelic experience, I have to work with people a lot on object. It's an object. No, it's a monster. No, it's a mind object. Mind object, mind object, mind object. Right? And the minute you buy in, uh-oh, now you got some interesting things happening. This is one of the, I think, interesting benefits of our research now in this is what does it take to form a relationship to these mind objects that's not the meeting of it? And can that medicine be supportive? And the answer is very much so. Isn't it interesting? Why? It just blew up the self. That's why. It took you offline a little. No selfing, just experiencing. Right. And then how to integrate that. And it's an interesting conversation. I sent to some of you, not all of you, article in Tricycle Magazine this morning that was about how psychedelics are now, and we already know it's happening at UCSD and UC Berkeley and of course Johns Hopkins and many other places, how those medicines are being used to concretize, let's think of it that way, right? These neural pathways that just are locked in, it's just like this, and I'm just like this, and my depression's just like this, and my anxiety is just like this, and actually bring some, guess what? Space and room and air and kindness to the party, right? Right from some of those experiences. Somebody wrote, couldn't open my eyes, chose to keep them closed. Yep, there is no doubt because it is not a lot of our standard practice. If you haven't done that practice regularly, you are going to be stimulated by that seeing eye door, but that's not a problem. Then you're just noticing mind objects, seeing things. Right. And then I noticed I was seeing this and then I was seeing that. And I like the idea of not seeing. It does create a little more workable container, closing the eye, little workable, because like now there's so much going on and I'm getting lost. It's like being put on a merry-go-round for some people, like too much seeing, too much, especially if that's your training. Thank you for a beautiful start to the day. You're so welcome. Diana from the block. I'm not sure.
That's
Jenny from the block.
Jenny.
Oh, Diana from the block. Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah. 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 See, if you just know somebody famous, or if you know somebody,
Come on,
you know
you're so
somebody
hip.
who's
You're
famous,
too hip,
you're
guys.
so badass. Yeah.
Psychedelics and J-Lo
Yeah.
all in one session.
All this
You
going
got
on.
it
all
going
at once.
on, girl.
Who could stand it?
Yeah.
Sorry to miss the hike. I have baseball. Well, I don't. but
Yes, I understand, Leanne. You're
Love
you're
you
doing
all.
your-
Love you all. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You're doing your good mom.
I am.
Woo, woo
One more
to good
season.
moms. Keep it up.
Diana from the block.
Diana from the block. Who knew? Let's see, what else do we want to say? Do we understand this idea? The mind object is never the point. And if you make it the point, you've already attached or you've already formed aversion to a mere appearance. It's like fighting with a cloud. Or worse, trying to live in one. Like if I could just get this secure, then I could be okay. But you're not going to, right? That's not going to work. is it? It's just not going to work. And so we don't have to do that. We do have some choices with ourselves. We don't have to solidify the ungraspable. It will not lead to happiness. And then we can be happy in all the arisings and passing. Now everything just gets super interesting. Sounds are happening and right, and they're coming and going, and I don't have to make it anything. And we will do better, and there will be greater joy, ease, contentedness in that flow, even is the word, right? Whatever's coming is coming, whatever's going is going. And can I do that with everything? The answer is no. Nope. If I hear my son is now not here or alive, I am not going to go, bodies arising, bodies passing, life coming, life going. I will work with that. And I will also be stuck. And I just have to know what the truth of that is, right? And will I be able to separate myself in that moment from being in grief? No. Is that required? No. No, won't be required. In fact, may be required. Opposite, right? To just allow the experience. And then what? Pema says, get bigger. Get bigger. Don't shrink into my pain, my grief, my loss, my son, right? Pain, suffering, worse. What can I do? Open all mothers, with all children, with all love, with the truth of all its impermanence. Doesn't mean we won't cry, does it? It means we'll be crying for the whole now, not just the me of it. You see the difference, right? And that's going to be our practice. And we all are going to get this opportunity, aren't we? Yes, we are. Whether that's your dog or your cat or your car or your self, right? And so this is the path. This is why we train, so that we can be present then even that day, and rather than collapse in the storyline of me, we open into the human story. You see the difference, right? Yes, fathers as well. It's all true. And be careful. Be careful that you don't make it your story. This is the path to suffering. All right, everyone. Thank you. I'm gonna let's do a short sitting now where we can offer our dedication. I don't know how many times I heard Joko say this. Let's say every day for 18 years. And then let me see how many times I understood it. No day. No day. Because I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea. And yet I knew something else. Like we all do. I knew. Like, no, I already know that's true. I don't want it. I'm going to do a lot of other stuff with my practice to try to get away from it. It didn't work out that well. So let's see if we can't just be here with this. Getting chillier for this moment, just noticing the wind coming up. Finding the way back to the body. You can let the eyes rest in whatever way feels right for you. And let go of this body as my body. See if you can make contact with the feet, the seat, the hands, the back, the head, and even the face. Face arising. And passing. And the Buddha himself said, let's begin with the breath, because it's a neutral, naturally arising and passing object, nothing you can grab onto. It's changing literally every breath. And see if we can't rest back a little into just this present moment. And seeing if we can't, for a few moments, get a little bigger. And may we invite these well wishes then for ourselves, and then beyond ourselves to loved ones, and then beyond loved ones to acquaintances, beyond them to neutral others, beyond them to those with whom we have challenge or difficulty or misunderstanding or pain. And let's see if we can't call them all to mind and invite them all into our heart mind space, this bodhicitta. May we all be happy, truly happy. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all be in gratitude and joy at our good fortune. And wish this good fortune for others. By the way, the good fortune is not the Willie's Jeepster. The good fortune is the teachings, the teacher, and the community. May we all rest and dwell in this vast open space, this sky-like, boundless quality of heart, mind. Awakened and free from all affliction. May I devote the whole of my life and this one breath and this practice this morning to the end of suffering and the cultivation of true ease, true happiness, true well-being. May I do so for myself, for my loved ones, and all those beings that we now call to mind. All those involved in that hotel crisis and difficulties, the challenges or the pain there, may we offer protection to all those who are trying to serve and be a benefit. And that may this be true throughout the world. May we breathe in for ourselves this vast open space, this wholehearted joy, loving kindness and compassion. And on the out breaths throughout the day today, see if you can't breathe a little out on purpose to others. And so long as time and space endures, and as long as there are beings who exist, may I, with no small I involved, may I so too remain that collective I to wash away the sorrows, the pain, the fear, and the suffering of the world. And may our practice today contribute that it be so. So be it. Thank you all so much. We will be, if you're going to drop in on Tuesday morning, we will be going over the final chapter. I think it's 22, maybe, the in-between states. The in-between states. Where is that? Everywhere. And here. Now we'll be looking at that a little bit. It's my favorite chapter of the book. And then we'll be deciding where to go from there. So thank you. If you, I saw somebody else ask a question about the hike. I'm not sure what else you need to know. You have to be there by before 9:45 because we're taking off from the Nature Center on Manchester Avenue at 9:45. I'll be heading out. So if you can join us, that would be great. If not, we'll do it another time. And I look forward to seeing you then. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. Good to see you all. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.